Alright guys, so if you like what we're doing here, subscribe to our channel, hit that thumbs up button, and don't forget the little notification bell that goes ding-a-ling-ding-ding. Let you know when we got a new video out. By the way, hello everybody, how we doing today? It's a nice day. Oh, shed's getting there. Got a small portion of the roof on. Got some real working to do. Apparently, I guess I'm not as square as when I used to be young. I'm crooked as can be. I got some crooked. I forgot to measure diagonally when I put the roof up there, so yeah, it is what it is. All right, so what we're gonna do today is this video is about watering system for your gardens. All right, the biggest problem that a lot of people have is water pressure. In previous, I've seen multiple things in the past that a lot of people use too small of a hose, 1/2 inch, 5/8 hose. I like to use 3/4 inch hose. I guess it all depends on what's your water supply out to your frost head, your spigot. I guess that's the major point. If you got a 1/2 inch piece of pipe going up to your, I'm turning off my water, and you go to 3/4, yeah, you'll have flow. It's gonna not have as much water pressure, but basic hydraulics, flow is the flow is your major source of getting water pressure. All your sprinkler systems, everything, they come down to a small little thing, to a small little tip to spray out water. The more flow you got, the more pressure, and the farther it shoots out. All right, so what we got here are one of many things that's going to go on in here. We got a T-post sprinkler head here. Yeah, these are the cool ones. This is the one that goes arm moves really slow. Bam. Like those. And we're going to have a drip line also to feed your tomato plants. Here's another one right here, and another one down there. All three of these heads will actually reach all the way over to the other side of the garden, and we're going to put another one on that corner over there, and he's going to, along the side of the greenhouse right there, we're going to put more potatoes in. And some other things over there that's going to be on the ground, some more carrots. I am a big fan of carrot juice. I love carrot juice. The more of the carrots I have, the happier I'm going to be. What I got going on here is I've been investigating, trying to figure out how I'm going to run this water lines throughout the whole garden. I've looked at black nylon. I looked at P-Tex. I've looked at a lot of stuff and trying to figure out what I'm going to go with. Well, I find it cheaper, this 150 PCI hybrid hose I got at Roll Keen. We're going to cut this guy up, and he's going to go in between all the sprinkler heads. I could buy this hose at Roll Keen for 50 bucks. It's 100 foot. And then buy the fittings, an average they're like this right here. They're brass or they're stainless. I found brass. Brass was about $4 for each piece, including the hose clamp and your what's that, FTH or FHT fitting right here. I can't remember what it's called. That's your garden. Look at that, I got water. Yeah. When I priced this out with the black nylon or P-Tex, it was going to cost me well over $100 to do what I wanted to do. And no, I spent maybe $70 for all this, and then I can replace my hose out. Here's the problem with using that black nylon hose. We live on a farm, all right? We're gonna have grandkids come over. We're gonna have kids come over when they do come. They wanted to mow the yard, I'll let them mow the yard. Well, if they nick that black line, it's going to be a bear to replace. It's not that hard, but it's just time consuming. It's a lot cheaper just to buy a hose, cut it up, and stick it on there with a hose clamp. And now I know a lot of people says, well, why don't you just bury the black line? You're right, bury the black line. You know, if this was my house and if I was gonna live here forever, I would. If my garden was gonna stay permanent, I would. But garden changes every year. Well, right now we got this garden. This garden is 80 by 50 that way. And we're planning on going up the hill next year. And we're gonna have to buy new fencing, more fencing, because we have to be able to sell produce in the state of Kentucky. You have to keep animals out. You have to keep all their manure, their waste out of your garden in the state of Kentucky. If we get inspected, there's not a fence, then we lose our license to sell produce at farmers market. We're not all about that, so we're gonna take this and we're gonna go up this hill next year, right on up that way, and then come back down and then cut into this garden, so it's gonna be L-shaped. So like maybe next year, this whole area on up the hill are gonna be all in-ground plants. I can actually up the hill during the winter when it rains a lot. I could put all my manure up there on top of the hill when it rains. When it starts decomposing and everything, you know, when I rotate it, when it rains, it'll bring down all the good nutrients and compost down into the garden. That's my plan. I hope it works. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to give it a shot. I'm always brainstorming. I don't know what else to say here, but come along with me. Oh, I know what else to say. So I got some tools out here. What we're going to need is, oh, telephone's ringing. I wonder who that is. Oh, I didn't make it in time. It's my buddy Chip up in Michigan. I'm gonna have to give him a call back. I tried to call him a couple times today, so. All right, guys, I'll be back with you in a little bit. Okay, everybody, I'm back. Got done talking to my buddy up in Michigan, Chip. Alrighty, so when you buy 4-ways and 2-ways, you make sure that you get the fullest flow you can. Like I went all over the place looking for this guy right here that was 3/4 an inch. There's a lot of them that are 5/8, and you make sure that the opening is full flow as possible. I don't know if you can see that. A lot of them has a small opening inside of there for sealing purposes, make them last longer. We got these at a hardware store that was closing down last year, and we got them for like 50% off. Unfortunately, Would I use this all the time? No, because I don't like these right here. I'm not a fan of it. I've broken a lot of these. They are pretty much useless, but because they do break easy. But when it's on clearance, I'm gonna shoot for it. I will try as much as I can. Sometimes it's not worth buying clearance stuff, but it'll work for me. These are by Green Thumb. I got them at an Ace Hardware store. You just try and make sure you get his full flow. Alrighty, this guy right here, if you can see, this is the reason why I bought it. It's an attachment that the bottle sits on, and it goes through the water hose right on out to your plants or whatever. Now we use a liquid organic fertilizer. I can't tell you the name, I don't remember, but as soon as I find a bag, actually I gotta go buy some here pretty soon. We get it at Martin's Produce up in Liberty, Kentucky. That's where we get it, and it's a liquid form. You also can get the granules, and what we normally do with the granules, I'll set them in a bucket of water and let them dissolve in that bucket of water, and then that's how we water sometimes with it. The granules takes a lot longer to dissolve and get, because they are slow releasing versus a liquid that's fast releasing. But that's fine. If you let it sit in the water for about 5 days and scoop out the water, you'll have some granules left in the bottom. They ain't no big deal. Throw some more in there, and if you have to. We use an organic fertilizer. The organic fertilizer that we use is actually food scraps. I believe and plant scraps. It's mainly all plant scraps. That's compost and turned into a granule. That's what we use. Well, anyway, so for this job here that we're going to do with this watering system, sorry about the sunglasses. It's hot. If you go to Lowe's, Home Depot, Menards, any of them, they like to sell the multi-size clamps to splice your hose. I got these at Tractor Supply today, and they weren't bad. They were about $5 a piece. They might be $4 a piece. I don't remember. I have to look at the receipt, but I know they were $4 or $5. I want Pacific size. I am a person, like I said, I want to use 3/4. I want to go as fully open that I can. I don't want to lose any water pressure. Every connection is a resistance of probably 20% of your water pressure. No, I don't think it's that much. I think it's a little bit lower, but every connection adds up. I think it's like 12% I was reading. Maybe it might be a little bit less than that. No, it's 8%. Every connection you could lose 8% of your water flow. That's why we try to go with full flow as much as we can. Your hose itself is going to be the outside of this, and that doesn't seem much, but it is a lot. Path of least resistance. Water or hydraulics like the flow. Take. So we got size specific. I don't know if Amazon sells any of this, but if you guys are Amazon shoppers, I will look on Amazon and I'll find the closest thing, and I will post a link below. If Tractor Supply has it on there, maybe I can actually figure out how to. I'm not a computer guru, none at all, but I will figure out how to post a link to that at Tractor Supply. Next thing we're going to need for this job, these are called quick cuts. These are hose cutters. You can cut hose. You can cut PCV with these guys. Yeah, they're plastic or poly. They're pretty tough. Man, I've had these for a long time. To be honest with you, I think I got them at a proto tool shop place. I ordered them for a job I was working on. Quarter inch. I know I'm saying so a lot, but quarter inch socket. I just said it again. Oh, I don't like using a screwdriver, but you can. I use a quarter inch set of sockets. You can use 3/8. That's not 5/16. Reason why is when you use a socket on here, you can get tighter. And you don't have to worry about stabbing your hand when you're trying to tighten it with a screwdriver when it slips out. Could not tell you how many times has that happened in my career. Let's see. I just said it again. A good quarter inch ratchet. Alrighty, well, I'm gonna go get this hose and take some measurements and go from that way. Alright guys, so what we're gonna do here is kind of hard to do this while holding this. You want to make sure you give yourself enough extra hose for repairs and splices. What I did was I gave this all the slack right there, and then I will zip tie it to the top of this fence. Now I know people say, what about the UV? What about the sunlight? Have an idea. Noodles, pool noodles. Slip it over the hose and the fence right on top. Noodles are cheap. You don't even have to use a pool noodle. You could use drain tile. Whatever. Alrighty, here we go. We got the hose tool, or the hose cutter tool. I have it marked. Voila, done. Whew, man, sucks being fat. Getting old. I was just over there in the heat. Alrighty, so one end has to be the male, the other end has to be the female. The female's already hooked up that hose over there. I saved the female on there. One thing I do not like about this hybrid hose we get at Roll King is very limber. It kinks really easy. It's not a, I think it's like a 3-ply hose. It's not a very strong hose, but for cutting it up and using it piece here, piece there, and all that, it's good enough for that. 100 feet for 50 bucks. That's dirt cheap. And the bad thing about it is, do not leave this hose on when you're away from home. Last year, it was probably 2 months old, the hose was. Guess what I did? I filled the creek up. The end blew off. Couldn't tell you how long it's been running, but running long enough, it was going in the creek, and the water that was dripping in the creek was almost 15 feet wide. Been running for a little bit. Yeah, I know, you're not supposed to leave anything on. But we always learn from our mistakes. Homesteaders ain't perfect. Farmers ain't perfect. We think we are, but far from it. Now, I didn't really want to use the hose clamps because you cut your hand on them. I wanted to use the pinch clamps, but I could not find any today. So we're gonna go ahead with hose clamps. This needs to be done. We're going up to Michigan in 3 weeks to go get Connor, and I'm trying to make this as easy as possible for my neighbors and for myself on watering. Mainly for my neighbors, because my neighbors are very cool. we are a throwing distance stone, and then we have another neighbor. He's way over on the other side. Hose clamp on, hose barb. Snugger the better. If you can't get this on, little tip of advice that if you're about chemicals, do not use a petroleum base or an oil base lubricant that's got chemicals in it. I tell people to use Vaseline or petroleum jelly if they're trying to join some stuff together. Petroleum base or food grade grease. You can get that almost at any industrial supply or anybody that sells grease. I don't think Napa has it. Cooking oil, vegetable oil. Only problem with vegetable oil, it molds if you don't get it cleaned off. If you leave it sitting out there in the sun and everything, it will start molding up on you and start stinking. All right, there's the end of my hose barb right there, right where my fingertip is at. And I got my clamp a little too far back. Let's move that clamp up a little bit closer to up there. When you got your clamp too close to the end of the hose barb, it will cut the hose internally. Pinches it. Now, granted, the hose barbs that are not very long, I mean, they're kind of short. You can see, they might be about 1.25 inches long, maybe 1 inch long right here, that hose barb. I would like to see longer ones. But for what I got to work with around here, and it's a Saturday, and everything closes at noon here where we live at. And nothing is open on Sundays. You can go to the big top stores, they're open all weekend long. Voila, done. One end down. I can't believe I cut a hose. If any of my kids are watching, they're gonna flip their lids. I will try to repair a hose as much as I can. I will not usually cut up a perfectly good hose. So also today I said so again. Look at that, man. Sorry guys. I bought a hose to extend all the way out back to the barn back there from my bulkhead I'm going to put right here. And yes, it's black. Reason why I went with a black hose, one, it bakes any of the water in there, and if there's got any bacteria in the water, it'll kill it. It'll get pretty hot enough in there and kill it. If that's what you're afraid of, I'm not. Unfortunately, we are hooked up to city water here. That's the reason why we got so much pressure. Brand new water line water system on out to the house. Got lots of pressure. I think we were reading, when I hooked up a gauge up to it last year, we were pushing almost 75 PSI. Got a lot of pressure. I got this at Tractor Supply, and it said lifetime warranty. So I asked the gentleman at Tractor Supply. He says, yes, just keep your receipt and you can bring it back if there's any manufacturer problems. I said, okay. We'll do one up close. This is the reason why I like using this tool. You see, that was done by a knife. I just did that just to show people. I mean, you could get it cut pretty straight with a knife. You really can. A lot of people do struggle. I just did that just to show, and then hard to cut this when it's so close to the end. See how nice and straight that is? Ta-da! Dun, dun, dun. Well, I got it hooked up. I got it running. I think it's a failure. These are some pretty big heads here. There's the second one. Works pretty good with two, which might be fine because I could put a Y right there and then the second one right here instead of the third. They work fine. They put out a lot of water, but I don't think there's enough water pressure when they hit their trigger to go back the other way. It takes them forever. Like he's sitting. Yeah, see? Water on the phone, water on the camera, whatever. We're using an old iPhone still. Well, running for 3 heads, 3 sprinkler heads is a failure. These things are hogs. But when I shut this third one off, they operate just fine. Well, I never claimed to be a professional. That's what this is all about, is doing stuff on your own, learning, sharing. If I was a professional, I'd be doing this for a living, making all kinds of money at it. I've always loved them sprinklers. Always made that noise. Well, it works pretty good on 2. We got a corner one here, corner one down there. They hit each other in the middle. But I think I want to move him down there to the other corner over there. So then they get the whole garden. Both over here, they're not getting the entrance. They're not getting the entrance right there. And there's a raised bed right there. You know the funny thing is, in the camera, it shows me pointing at that raised bed. I'm almost pointing to that. Now I'm pointing at my boat. It's amazing how that works. Ducks are loving it. They're all excited about the water coming in there, hitting them. That whole saying, something about being in the water, it's true about ducks. If you got ducks and you get them in water, love starts floating in the air. You can tell you what, goats don't like water. They hightailed into the barn. I got it going in there to water some of their grass. They're like, you big jerk. Oh, since we got this done, I got one more project I'm gonna work on here in a little bit. That is the drip irrigation system. Oh, that's how I mounted it. I zip tied this board up here to my T-post, and I ran some Phillips screws into this, Like I said, I don't like these plastic ones. I don't mind plastic, but I'll probably make me a new one out of PCV. I believe that's where I'm losing a lot of my water pressure problem, is right there. It says 3/4, but measure the inside diameter, it's under 5/8. All right, guys, on to the next project. Is the drip tape irrigation system. Your tomato plants. It's not wise to get the leaves wet during the middle of the day if you got them water during the middle of the day to cool down things. Here's the... I don't want to look in the sun. That sun is bright. Whew. Here's some drip tape. Here's the fittings for the drip tape. Then you need a pretty good size poly hose. Already on the drip tape here. It comes in usually, I think, like a 300 feet roll of drip tape. At the end of your drip tape, just tie a knot and pull it tight. You can buy the things that plug the end on, but you don't have to. But on the drip tape itself, you can see there's a slit right there where the water's coming out. They're every 12 inches in the drip tape. There's another one right there. What we got here is a regulator to 7 gallons per minute. And I think it's 15 PSI. Yep, 15 PSI. I'm sorry, it's upside down, guys. You have to lower down the pressure on your water for the drip tape, otherwise it blows up. People have problems with drip tape because they usually don't put a regulator on there. The next thing you need is a valve. This will go right into the poly hose, and that end will be for your drip tape. Now all this stuff is what I used last year, and I will reuse it until it's pretty much depleted. There's already holes drilled in here. When you drill holes into your poly, you want it the same size as this hole. So when you match up a drill bit, it's going to be the same diameter, the outside diameter of this little hole. It's a flare right here, and how this works is you pop it in the hose, and then you take this nut and you push up against the poly hose, and then that flare tightens up against the hose and the nut. Alright, so we got a hole already right here. There's a hole right there. And how this works is you push this right in the hole until it pops through. See if we can turn this hose just like so. Then you just tighten this nut down on it. And it seals. Voila, done. Alrighty, now the drip tape. So when you get your drip tape holes lined up with your plants the best you can, remember they're every 12 inches. You start at the very end, work back and forth until you get them pretty lined up. What you're going to do is you're going to go about right here, halfway through this nut, and cut. And all you need is a pair of scissors for this job. Make sure your tape part is pointing down to the ground, and press it on there like so. then you thread this down over it. See, it does not come off. Well done. So how drip tape works. There's this part right here. Where in the hell? Alright, how this works is the hose, the water comes down through this major part. Alright, and then also there's slits on the inside. You see where that slit is at? That's on, there's also slits on the inside, and this fills this little channel up all the way down, and that's how it drips out. Now, can you cut it and make a slit somewhere right around in there, anywhere you want? No, it just blows out like Moby Dick in a blowhole. Alright, this is how drip tape works. It drips, 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 drips. Just gotta make sure you get it over the hole just a little bit, you know. Make sure it drips right into your plant's area where you planted your, see, that's how it works. Alright, I'm gonna wrap up this video. It's been a week or two since I made that video on this. The hose that I got from Tractor Supply is a no-go. Do not buy that black Garden Works hose if you got a lot of water pressure. I went through 3 of them. They blew out, turned into soaking hose, a bunch of little pinholes in them. So we've actually been running on this hose right here. It's called the Stanley Flat Max hose. It's yellow. And I know I said this hybrid hose here from Roll King was no good, but way better than the Tractor Supply hose. I just almost got wet. But we're running on 2 heads here, and a drip tape out there on the garden. Everything's working good. So if you got any questions, drop me a line. I'll leave some of the stuff down below for what I got at Tractor Supply to do this with. So alrighty guys, I'm out of here. Have fun. If you like what we're doing here, hit the thumbs up button, and look who's home in time for the ending.
I have to get my ding 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 bell in.
Don't forget the little ding-a-ling ding-ding bell. And subscribe to our channel if you like what we're doing here. We're getting ready to leave for Michigan, so hopefully we'll have a video on visiting people up there. Alrighty guys, we're out of here. Have fun.